Hey my dudes, it's the busiest day of the year in Sweden's best bakery. That's right, we're spending Fat Tuesday at Lillebrors Bageri in Stockholm. Swedes in general aren't very religious, but wow, do they love a food holiday. And Fat Tuesday in Sweden is all about semlor. A semla is a soft cardamom-scented wheat bun filled with almond paste. At Lillebrors, they dip them in salted chopped almonds. Now this isn't traditional, but it's very in vogue in Stockholm right now. The bun is then topped with a swirl of whipped cream, its little hat, and a dusting of powdered sugar. For those with nut allergies, Lillebrors makes a version filled with vanilla pastry cream instead of almond paste. These get a triangle-shaped hat, so it's easy to tell them apart. Semla season runs from right after New Year's until a week or two after Fat Tuesday. On a normal Saturday during this season, Lillebrors will sell around 6,000 semlor. Last year, they sold 10,000 buns on Fat Tuesday. This year, the goal is 12,000. Oh, and by the way, it's one semla, two semlor, just in case anyone was curious or didn't know. Anyway, my day started at 5:30 in the morning, but I was by no means the first person there. By the time I arrived, the bakers had already been working for hours. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cecilia. I was a baker and pastry chef for almost a decade before becoming a content creator. And full transparency, I actually worked at Lillebrors a few years ago. So I might be a little biased, but I genuinely think they're the best bakery in the country. My first job of the day was running baked buns from the main bakery to a little office extra storefront they have down the street. This is where they put together the orders of over 50 buns, usually for offices and businesses. New buns were being baked every hour for most of the morning, so I had to run back and forth quite a bit. The level of organization required for a day like this is insane. All the almonds for the day had already been chopped, and all the filling was prepped in piping bags. Two guys spent the entire day, literally all day, whipping cream in what is normally the break room. And trust me, it's harder than it looks to get the perfect texture. Not too soft, but definitely not over whipped either. Near the mixer, a couple girls handled the unbaked buns. Every bun for the day had already been made and rounded in the days leading up to Fat Tuesday. Because they had to make so many, they were packed tightly onto trays. Their job was to space them out properly before proofing so that they wouldn't stick together while baking. Lillebrors has only 2 proofers, so they had to get a bit creative. They made makeshift proofers by simmering water at the bottom of speed racks covered in plastic bags. Once the buns were proofed, the bakers took over. The bakery has 2 ovens, each manned by a baker whose entire job was just to bake buns and keep production moving. Normally, one person runs back and forth between the ovens, but today both had to be in constant use. The only ovens they have are deck ovens, so baking is a constant dance of sliding trays in and out at the right time. Once baked, the buns were placed in speed racks to cool. Assembling the semlor was split into 2 different production lines, the big line and the little line. Each line was made up of people doing a single task all day. One person cut the tops off of the buns. Another took those tops and used a cookie cutter to make perfectly round lids. A third piped almond filling onto the buns. Another dipped each bun in chopped almonds. Then someone piped whipped cream on top. Finally, the last person put the lids back on and dusted them with powdered sugar. The semlor from the little line went straight to the shop for walk-in customers. The ones for the big line were packed and organized for pre-orders. Customers who pre-ordered didn't have to wait in line. They picked up their boxes from a separate kiosk window. And wow, the line. Lillebrors always has a line. They only have 2 registers, and while they want things to move quickly, they also take their time with each customer, answering questions, packing everything nicely, and making sure people leave happy. There wasn't much of a line in the morning, but after lunch, it exploded. For most of the afternoon, the line stretched down the block and around the corner. It might seem crazy to wait in such a long line just for a bun, but trust me, these are worth it. I ended up eating 4 during my 11-hour shift. We were also treated to lunch by some of the bakery's regulars. They live next door, and every year they make lunch for the entire team. This year, it was cold pudding with gravy and lingonberry jam, and it was so good. As the day started winding down and semla production wrapped up, a second shift of bakers came in. Lillebrors doesn't close the day after Fat Tuesday. It's right back to business as usual. So everything had to be cleaned and prepped. Like really cleaned and really prepped. Every surface, drawer, fridge got wiped down inside and out. Almonds were chopped for the next day's semlor. Bread rolls were portioned and trayed. Loaves were shaped and placed in baking forms to rest overnight in the fridge. And cardamom buns were also prepped. The dough cut into strips, twisted into shape, and placed on trays for easy baking the next day. The last few trays of semlor were assembled and put out for customers. And the final bun, it sold just 3 minutes before closing. We didn't quite hit the goal of 12,000, but we did beat last year's record of 10,000. This day was so much fun, and I'm so happy I got to be a part of it. Huge thank you to Tolba and Stefan for letting me come in and stick a camera in everyone's face all day long. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're ever in Stockholm, go to Lillebrors Bageri and get a semla. The line is worth it, promise. Hej då!
Vad vill du göra här? Det är som helst. Det är skål!
Skål! Skål! Skål!